Hey everybody, Neil Malik from Knack Training bringing you another everyday office video. In today's video, I'd like to start a series of videos convincing you that the tool Power Query that's in Excel 2016, 19, and Office 365 is absolutely worth your time for a multitude of reasons. And specifically in this video, we're going to demonstrate how it's better than using VLOOKUP or index and match to join two sets of data. So as you can see here on the screen, on the left side, we have our employee list, and every employee has a manager. Now, typically what we would do is do a VLOOKUP of the manager's ID over here, over in this list, and be able to tell you what their name is, or what department they're in, or what region they're in, based on who their manager is. But I'm going to tell you that Power Query can do this in some really interesting and powerful ways. The first thing you have to do to use Power Query to make this happen is you have to turn both data sets into tables. Because you'll see up here on the Data tab where Power Query lives, what we're going to use is this from table or range functionality. And it says if the selected data is not a table or a range right now, it'll be converted into a table. So let's take the time. I'll go here to Insert. I'm selected on the list of data on the left-hand side. I choose Insert a Table. And after clicking OK, I'm going to give this table a name that tells me what it's all about. Right up here on the Table Design tab at the top of the screen, over here on the left, I'm going to call this one Employees. And then I'll repeat this on the right. Click onto the list of data on the right, go to Insert, choose Table, and again, give this thing a useful name. In this case, the name of this table will be Managers. Great. So now we have employees and managers, and Power Query is going to figure out what the relationship is between these two tables. Next, what we're going to do is click on the table on the left, go to the Data tab, and we're going to get the data from this table. This is the only thing that I'd like to see them change that actually exists already in Power BI. So Power Query, which I'm about to show you about here, is actually a tool that's also in Microsoft's Power BI product. And in Power BI, you can select both tables at the same time and bring them in. In Power Query and Excel, you have to do it one at a time, unfortunately. So I'll click here on From Table or Range. Power Query will open up, and it will have the information from that table in it. So let's take a quick look around. Here is the table of information, all the employee first names and last names and their manager ID numbers. And over here on Queries, you can see this query is called Employees. Pretty straightforward. What I'm going to do here is I'm not going to do anything with this. I just want to go back and grab the other table. So I'll click a quick Close and Load drop-down menu, choose Close and Load to, and I'll simply load it as a connection. What that does is it says, great, the table is perfect, it's in there. We don't actually need to put it on the page. See here, we could output it to a table or a pivot table or a pivot chart or something like that. I don't need any of those things. I just want to create a connection to it that Power Query can use. So only create a connection, then hit OK. And now we'll do the same thing over here with the managers. Click on the manager table. Click on the Data tab and From Table or Range. That loads it up here. Again, you can see that we have both managers and we have employees. Great. Now here is the beauty of using Power Query to do our VLOOKUP. So we have our employee table over here. Let's click on the employee query. And what I want to do is I want to merge this together with my managers. I go up here to the Home tab, use the drop-down menu where it says Merge Queries, and I can choose to merge the queries as a new query. Make a new table based on how these two things come together. Click on Merge Queries as New, and then use the Manager ID column here in the Employee table, and use the drop-down to choose the Manager table, and tell it that's the Manager ID column here. Now you can notice one of the things that's really nice about Power Query as opposed to functions in Excel, right down here it automatically tells me, yeah, there are 26 employees, and we found 26 matches. Isn't that nice? Like, that's just something VLOOKUP doesn't do. So we click OK. It makes our list here, and then right over here on the side, we have the manager column with a little pop-out button. I click on that little pop-out button there, and I say, okay, what I need is I need to know the manager's first name, or last name, or department, or region. Let's say that I want to know their first name, last name, department, and region right here, and I will uncheck the checkbox for using the original column name as a prefix. The reason for that is that if we have any overlaps, it'll help distinguish between them. So you'll see that first name and last name here can easily become confused with first name and last name here. But let's take a look at what that actually comes through like. So I click OK. So now it says first name 1 and last name 1, and then department, and then region. So you can easily rename this column just by double-clicking on it. But here's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to click on their first name column, hold down Shift, and click on the last name column. And right up here at the top on the Transform tab, I'm going to tell it to merge the two columns together. When I click on Merge Columns, I can tell it to use a separator of just a space between those two names. And I can call this one Manager Name and hit OK. And then just like that, you see how it used to be first name and last name over here, and first name 1 and last name 1 over here? Now there's just manager name with a space between the first name and the last name. Incredibly easy, right? And then we have the department and we have the region. And just like that, I can tell it on the Home tab to close and load. And I have a new set of data that has everything in it that I was interested in. And what's really beautiful here is that if I go back to that raw data and I add a new person down here at the bottom, let's say it's Gregory Hines. And Gregory Hines has a manager named HRT 3450, just like that. Then I go back to my data that it output right here. So right now there's no Gregory Hines at the bottom, right? But all I have to do is simply right-click on it and tell it to refresh. There's a bunch of refresh buttons. There's a refresh button over here on the side. You see that little refresh icon right there. On the Query tab up here at the top of the screen, there's a refresh button there. There's a lot of ways to get the new set of data out. What's great about this is if you have these two tables in separate spreadsheets or even in separate databases, Power Query can do exactly what it just did for you. It can bring over any columns you want. And in fact, let's say that this merged data here is no longer what I want. All I have to do is double-click on Merge here on the right-hand side. This is the query that I created. Let's actually go ahead and rename this to Employees with Manager Data, or something like that. So it's easy for us to recognize. Well, now that I know who the manager is, I actually don't need the manager column. So I'll right-click on the manager column and remove this. And then I'll come over here to the region column, and maybe I don't actually want to know the region. So I'll right-click and remove that. And then maybe I want the manager name over here on the left, followed by the department name. And then I want, let's say, Gregory Mays to be tied together. Again, I can click on first name, hold down Shift and click on last name, and I can transform these by merging the columns together and putting a space between them and calling this employee name. Just like that, manager name, department, employee name. I go to the Home tab and hit close and load, and that table now reflects exactly what I was looking for. Compare and contrast to what VLOOKUP can do for you. Power Query is hands down the winner here. That's it for today. Hope everybody enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing here. Have a great day.